Hey, welcome to Timeless Tarot, where we do tarot card readings that are not bound by time. Okay, so in this case, I already chose the cards because I felt like, I don't know, I just felt the desire to do this. What we're going to do is choose one of these cards, and that will determine your reading. I decided to pick these cards because they all had a celestial feel to them, so we're going to go with that. A celestial feel. That's what I'll call them. A very starry night sky, space feeling, like staring up at the night sky, waiting for a shooting star kind of feeling. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to choose your card based on how you resonate with each one. To begin with, for pile number 1, we have the High Priestess. For pile number 2, we have the Moon. 3, we have the Chariot. And 4, we have the Star. And I'll take a moment just to show them real quick so you can get a good look at them. This is a very beautiful tarot deck. So here we have the High Priestess, the Moon, the Chariot, and the Star. Okay. Well, at this point, you probably already jumped off to your reading, so I'll just be quick with please subscribe and leave a comment if you'd like. We always want to hear from you. Okay, see you in reading number 1. Greetings, pile number 1. You chose the High Priestess. Welcome. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Okay. Let's do some quick draws here and get to the cards, okay? Ooh, okay, they want to go this way. That's normally not how I place them, but it kind of felt like that's where it wanted to go, so we'll go with that. And here. And I feel like doing it a little differently today. I feel like doing it a little differently. Did I articulate that well? Okay, let's start from the past and move on, okay? The world was at your feet in the past. You had completed some large endeavor, some large journey in the recent past, and now you are kind of waiting for your reward. Like, what is going on here? You've done so much. You went through something that you were tasked to accomplish. Somebody tasked you, or something made you have to react to something and solve a problem, and you solved that problem. But where's your reward? Where's your trophy? Man, you're gonna wait forever because you're not getting it. Why? That's kind of interesting. There's some transformation, something new. There's something interesting and unknown right now about the fact that you're not getting rewarded for all of the work that you put in. Be patient, okay? Just be patient. The information will reveal itself, and it will give you a spark of creativity, something that will drive you forward in a new endeavor, a new task that's going to give you way more motivation and way more sense of purpose. Okay. So what is this? We have some unknown here. What is this like reveal and transition, this transfer? So I kind of like am doing this backwards right now, but we'll just talk about it before we move on. In case you're not watching the screen, we have the Devil as the current mental position. There's some death and rebirth situation happening right now within your mind, in your concept of what it was that you had accomplished in the past, because in the past we have the World and the Nine of Wands. So the World being you've accomplished something very tremendous, very big life-changing event here actually, but whatever it was didn't fully reconcile what it was you were looking for, because we have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so Nine of Wands being this, having put in quite a lot of effort, and it just seems like an onslaught. It's just been constant, and there's no real closure. That's the word we're looking for. You are looking for closure. Oh, okay, there we go. So you just gotta like wait a moment and it comes to you. This is looking for closure moment, and it might have just happened, or you're just ready for it. You're ready for closure. Temperance is the transformation into a new sprouting idea, a new path, a new branch in your journey. This is a big journey because we have, look at this, we have the World, death, and temperance all on the same page here in the mind, and we're ending with a very fresh new rooting start. You're rooting something new. You know how you can kind of take, I mean, I don't do this myself, but I've seen it happen. You can take like a branch or something and put it in water and it starts to create roots and it can become its own plant. That's kind of the vibe I'm feeling here. Your path went into a different direction and now it's starting to root. Okay. Interesting. Cool. Closure. Should we do that the same way we did it before, like just now? It's not normally the order I go in, but that felt kind of cool. What do you think? I kind of liked that. We're going to go with that, actually. I'm going to do that. All right. Okay. Well, you're a nurturing person and you were nurturing somebody. You were giving a lot of your attention to something or someone. Friends kind of came in the way. Maybe they needed something from you, or maybe they kind of wanted your time. Maybe it's one of those times where you were in a relationship of some sort and you put so much into it and your friends are like, where have you been? Okay, you want closure because there's someone new. Because we have this Knight of Wands. We're not even going to talk about the cards. Let's keep going. But someone came in new, and it brought a new, fresh start to you. A transformation giving you this sense of like almost like renewal. There's a sense of renewal. Someone coming in and giving you a sense of renewal, okay? But we have to be careful, okay? Because there are responsibilities out there, and there are things that you want to be with yourself that this might not necessarily lead to unless you pay attention to the responsible side of the coin here, okay? This new fresh start thing, you need to look at the responsible side of the coin. Cool. And we say all this right now because you personally might have just wanted to brush right into a new situation. We have the Knight of Wands, which is taking like pretty explicit action, movement very quickly. Preceding that, we have the Three of Cups, which is friendships, reunions, and before that we have Queen of Pentacles. So maybe there's some pressure or something to move on or something to something else, or there's a feeling in you where you want to move on, but there is the need for closure, and I think that's kind of this weird dynamic here. There's a need for closure, and there's also some need for like kind of facing something that happened in the past where it allows you to have a fresh start. Don't completely let go of everything in the past here. If there's a fresh new start that you want to begin, make sure that you also address this closure situation, okay? Cool. I'm going to try this one more time. It was way cooler the first time I did it. The second time felt a little weird. But let's try it one more time, okay? And maybe we'll do it for other readings or not. Let's go that direction. Okay. So what you were feeling back then when the world was at your feet, you had completed this big endeavor, this big journey. You were a nurturing person and you really put in the effort to put your energy where you felt it really could benefit others. You were feeling heartbroken at the time though. You were feeling very hurt. And you were kind of healing others at the expense of looking at yourself. It was kind of one of those things where you'd pay attention to other people to kind of distract from the pain that you felt within. Your friends, when you met with them, and you were feeling kind of in your mind, you were feeling like, man, when am I going to feel better? When am I going to feel better? Well, your friends kind of came in and kind of forced you to look at yourself, and that kind of released that feeling. You might have felt free for a moment being with friends, but currently you feel like there's just so many choices to be made and you just don't know what to do about it. You have a lot of energy right now. You want closure. You feel like you've had it, but it might be something that you're kind of forcing to happen. Like it's almost like you're forcing healing to happen. You can't really speed up that process right now. You want to kind of wait for a moment because we want stability in the future. You're going to feel more stable having realized that you can give yourself some time. You can allow yourself a more reasonable pace, okay? You can be, this is upside down. We don't want to do that. We can take our time, okay? And be gentle to ourselves. Be gentle to yourself and be kind to yourself, really. Okay. Because you're going to see and you're going to feel yourself growing and you're going to feel the progress within you. those challenges that you face in the future are going to be ones that, if you look at them calmly and squarely, you'll be able to surpass them very easily. Okay? At least you'll be able to know what to do. It might be a challenge. There's always a challenge, but this brand new spark in your mind is going to allow you to, kind of evade any sort of like mental mindset trap that might have otherwise paralyzed you. You're going to move forward because you're focused on growth and you're focused on that new branching path. You're focused on rooting something new and fresh that can really revitalize what it is you're looking for. You revitalize the elements of yourself. We have this Knight of Wands being clarified by the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups being many choices, okay? And the death in the mindset is really mostly looking for closure, looking for some kind of change in a situation. We have the Three of Hearts clarifying the Queen of Pentacles in the past and the world. So within oneself, there was a sense of loss, but then there was a sense of release, which can be cathartic, kind of a letting go feeling, because we have Judgment clarifying the Three of Cups and the Nine of Wands. So then we discussed the cups already, the Seven of Cups in the current position, and now we're moving on to the Four of Wands clarifying the Page of Swords and Temperance. So transformation, but within there's a lot of stability coming up. There's more stable mental states in the future. And clarifying the Devil card and the Ace of Wands, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which is seeing and putting in the effort to watch progress grow, but don't focus on it so much, because then that's kind of like a watch pot, never boil situation, okay? Remember, you're going to face challenges like the Devil, which is a blockage. The Devil's kind of like, and the Temperance are kind of two sides of the coin. The Devil, well, the Temperance goes up before the Devil, but the Devil is kind of this challenge to Temperance, where it's like, you want to be a certain person, and there's certain parts of yourself that need to be let go of to allow yourself to become that new person and be in that new life. If you want a life for yourself that you envision that's beautiful, you have to be the person for that life. And that means letting go of some parts of yourself and changing other parts, making you a different person than you once were. Okay? Now the fear of that, the fear of this unknown, well, what happens when you do change yourself is kind of this blockage, this kind of barrier to that process, which is Temperance. Temperance is becoming a better person through transformation. So in this case, we're going to face some of those challenges, but they will be, they will not stop you from going where you need to go, okay? Because on the mind, you have a fresh new start, a very creative and motivating idea, and you have diligence and commitment, okay? Beautiful. Okay, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please leave a comment and subscribe to see more of me in the future. Take care. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the Moon. I tried something a little different in the last reading, and I'm going to try to do it here. If it doesn't feel natural and it doesn't work out this time, we'll just go back to how I normally do it. But I will be reading these cards in a slightly different order than Ooh, what was that? Ooh, we're going to pause for a second. I really hope this does not. I saw a glitch in the recording, which sometimes means the video might be corrupted. We'll see. Hopefully it works out. Just happened again. Well, we'll just roll through and hopefully it works out. We'll see. Okay. How are you doing today, group number 1? 2. Shit. Sorry, 2. Oh my gosh. What's going on? I'm trying to do 2 readings a day. But that's like sometimes a bit much. I know that sounds like kind of like, oh, boohoo, 2 readings in a day. I mean, like 8 readings. Okay. And sometimes I get a little, I don't know, sometimes like the energy just starts to fade in the second time I try to do a reading, a full like hour reading. Sometimes like the video corrupts. It's really weird. It only happens when I try to do it 2 in a day. Okay. We're going to try to do this. I keep getting glitches in the recording, so we'll see if it's actually pulling through or not. Hopefully it is. Please Sorry about me being distracted there. Okay. So in the past, you had a new idea, which led to a little bit of conflict in some ways. Maybe with yourself, you were kind of thinking through this new idea. It was challenging your conceived notions of something. It was challenging your old beliefs. Okay. And it's leading you to kind of going on your own journey with this. You're kind of exploring something. This is kind of one of those situations where you're no longer taking things for face value. You're actually kind of challenging things and asking deeper questions to kind of see an underlying basis for what it is that you're being told. Okay. And this is going to lead to like some form of commanding presence. Okay. Where you are kind of going to probably embody this more so than someone else coming in. You're going to be able to command critical thinking skills much more strongly. And we have strength here. So your mind's going to be strong from having this new idea. You're really learning that what comes into your life and what's being told to you really should be put under more scrutiny, okay? This is something that is interesting. This is just where it's going, because what's happening is you're realizing that a lot of what's being given to you in the form of a source of information is often being warped in some way through the channel that it's coming to you in, okay? Interesting. But that's like okay, because what it means is it doesn't necessarily mean you don't believe what you see, but it means you ask more questions and you try to get to the bottom of it more. And that makes you a stronger person mentally. You no longer get so upset about the information that's coming to you because it's actually inspiring curiosity more so than rage, which is typically what a lot of information nowadays is trying to do. So now you're kind of looking at things more curiously. You're kind of pondering the underlying motive for why something is formed a certain way when it reaches you, okay? And we're going to go a little bit more into the clarification of the cards now because of this. So we have starting here, we have the Ace of Wands in the past, okay? Sorry, the Ace of Swords in the past, so a new idea. A brand new idea, one that kind of has a double edge to it, where you have to be careful how you wield it. Okay, but then it leads to Five of Wands, which is some form of conflict, but we're in the mind and the spirit realm right now, okay? So this kind of conflict doesn't necessarily manifest itself in the real world, rather it's internal, and it's within the mind, okay? So this kind of like challenging of the mind here can come into play. There's like a real thought where you're challenging your pre-existing beliefs because of this new belief that formed, okay? And then that leads to the Page of Wands, which is someone ready to take action with a new system of motivation. This can lead to travel in some ways, but it's in the mind. So what it really is a new exploration within intellectual curiosity, which leads to the Emperor in the future position of the mind, which is command of one's domain, real presence, just Emperor energy all around, the sense of just having true command, okay? And it's in the mind, so you have command over your thought process. This is kind of one of those things where people say they're going to teach you how to think kind of things, like, oh, college teach you how to think. It's like, well, actually, oftentimes it doesn't, but some classes do. The sense of critical thinking being an important aspect to this, but one where you actually understand that you have your own disciplined way of figuring out, kind of getting to the bottom of things, okay? And then we have strength, the final card in the mental section of the reading. We have this strong person here, someone who has the lion energy, really like in command of that fierceness. So you're going to be really strong in how you find information, and you're not going to really argue with people anymore. You might do so a little bit during the Emperor stage, but eventually you're just going to like look at the attitude of the person. Like they're just like going, okay, show me the receipts here, show me the truth, show me the actual evidence to support what it is that you're claiming, right? That's the kind of energy here we have. So you're actually going to be really, like, I would say this is an even stronger position than the Emperor, where the Emperor might be a little bit more confrontational with the Rams. You have the power of the lion, but it doesn't even need to come out because you already have the eye to see when this information that's coming to you is truthful or not. That's the important thing here, is we're trying to find the truth. Okay. some reason this should not even be there. Okay, we're just gonna leave it out because it slid right off the table. Did you see that? And then normally like cards like this pop out. Like I like this better. Okay. That just like slid right off the table. So we're not even gonna look at it. Maybe I will later, but do you wanna know what it was? We'll take a look at it. Okay. At the end. If I remember. Nah, I'll remember. I'll put it here. Okay. I kind of saw it. So let's just do what we did before. So when you had this new idea, you were pondering it, right? You were really contemplating like what it was that you were seeing in front of you, and you felt like you just weren't seeing everything, okay? And then something did come in, and you realized, wow, wait a second, like I was thinking like this doesn't all add up. There should be something else, some other information. And you were patient with yourself, and you kind of really thought about it, and you're like, no, wait, I need to really take a closer look at these things. You were stable. You really approached this with a rational mind. Like really, like you kind of just put like each step where it needed to be, like one step after the other. You know, you were like, okay, if this really is true, well, what about this, that, and this? Okay, and that's led you like to start to challenge other things. Yeah, and you're kind of being creative with how you do this. You're realizing you have to think creatively to not allow yourself to jump back into the mindset where you just immediately accept what is given to you. And this leads to a transformation of self, true transformation of self. Wow, okay. So, this situation starts with the Four of Cups. So we have the contemplative, meditative figure sitting below the tree in the past, clarifying the Ace of Swords. Okay, so that's why we say you were kind of thinking about this, and you were focused on these three cups, and then something kind of came out from the side, right? You have the fourth cup kind of coming in on these wings, surprising you, making you realize not all is as it seems, okay? Now we have the Temperance card, which is a transformation. You're kind of conflicted with yourself, but you're transforming your mind, you're being patient with yourself, and you're realizing you're thinking through everything that happened right just then. Okay, and that transforms you into someone who looks at things more rationally and calmly, but really is willing to go on this mental journey and put in the effort when you're given something to actually challenge it enough to understand the underlying reasoning for why it was expressed or communicated to you in that specific way. Now we say we had a creative approach to this because we have the Ace of Wands clarifying the Emperor. So there's kind of like you're challenging things, but in a creative way, not maybe directly and not confrontationally, but you're asking questions that kind of break open what it is that someone's saying, so they have to clarify what it is they mean, okay? And this leads to transformation because we have the Death card with Strength. Okay, so the Death card is a rebirth card. And you have the sun shining behind death as the new day begins. And that's something that's going to happen with your strength. You really are transforming here. This looks like someone who's like maybe in an academic situation or just being put in a position where they need to think more critically about what it is that they're being told. A great example of this is watching television. You will see, or even just like random things on the internet, you'll see claims to whatever, all sorts of claims of what's happening somewhere or like what you should think. And the question is, well, what is going on? You might have to ask very specific questions, I don't have a specific here, but actually just calmly asking, well, what do you mean by this? Like, what do you mean by this? Like, explain it, because if you have such strong emotions about it, you must have some kind of vision, right? So what is this vision? Try to get to the bottom of it when someone proposes something to you, okay? And this card that fell out was a pondering card too, so it would have made sense to go here. We have the Page of Pentacles, someone who's like really thinking about something that's been given to them. Okay. So let's clarify this and go one step deeper. How are you feeling about this transformation? Is this resonating with you, group number 2? This is a very specific reading, I feel like. If you're feeling this way right now, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Okay. mean, don't be afraid to ask someone, what do you mean by that? Like, can you explain what the situation is? Like, can you give me more details? Maybe I disagree with you, maybe I don't, but I'd like to hear your side of the story first, right? Listening skills might be important here. Okay. Let's go with the way we were doing it before. In the past, when you were having this new idea, when this like kind of interesting thought changed your perspective, you were kind of being stubborn. You're like, you know what? I actually want to know why someone thinks this way. Almost because you wanted to beat them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you ended up doing, but it did give you the power to really explore, to really investigate this. And there was something kind of serendipitous happened, something very random, but it actually seemed to be very coincidental, led you to make you have a much broader realization. Like perhaps you got some actual first-hand account of a situation, and you had been told it was something different the entire time, but now you had this first-hand account, and your chance, like that was by chance, right? By chance that happened. But that's what led you to really like see there's a new way of looking at these things. But this is invigorating you because now you're like, you know what? Like maybe there's a lot of things I've been told that were wrong, and maybe that gives me opportunities that I didn't otherwise know about. Okay, and it's gonna keep you up because you're just gonna be excited about this. It's not gonna be sad. You're just gonna be excited that like there's so many opportunities that like kind of opened up for you because you've seen that you can think this in this creative way. And yeah, you're going to feel very, very bold and charismatic and courageous moving forward. Like you're not only going to have strong thoughts, you're going to feel strength within you because of this. Cool. Now we say all this because clarifying the Four of Cups and the Ace of Swords, we have the Seven of Wands. So there was some kind of having the higher ground. You might have realized and seen something that someone said that you realized was just not true, and they were basing what they said on emotions or something that they were told by somebody else. It was a whisper down the lane, and they just trusted that source of information when you saw firsthand what the situation was. And that's why we say it was random, or there was this serendipity moment, because we have the Wheel of Fortune, underlying Temperance, and the Five of Wands, okay? Which means something gave you the opportunity to see something in a new light. And it gives you this free spirit to really move forward now, because we have the Fool clarifying the Four of Wands and the Page of Wands. So the ability to explore mentally the feeling of emotional foundation, or being in a foundational point of view, and having the emotional spirit to really take on this new endeavor, really have the energy to approach these things and actually challenge them. Sleepless nights because we have the Nine of Swords, which is an overactive mind in some ways. But in this case, with all this strength and all of this invigorating power we see with the Ace of Wands and the Emperor, I would say this is more sleepless nights because you're just excited for the opportunities. And we say that you're courageous and you're charismatic and you're calm and like, you're just like, you have this charisma about you because we have the King of Wands within your internal emotions, clarifying the Death and the Strength card. So this is a very interesting transformation for you. You're actually going to become someone who has a little bit of authority, like real power, real authority, because you're willing to ask questions that you know get to the bottom or the source of the truth. And that's a very important skill to have, and that's one that's worthy of continually growing and cultivating within yourself. So I'm very, very happy for you, group number 2, and I can't wait to hear where that courage is taking you. Please leave a comment in this video and subscribe to see more of me in the future. Take care. Hey, group number 3, you chose the Chariot. We are doing things differently today, so I tried it with group number 1 and 2, and it worked out really well. But we are having glitches in the video, so if you see these glitches, ooh, well that just came out, okay. If that just came out, like if you saw like that big glitch in the video, please let me know. If not, then it's just me seeing it, so we don't need to worry too much. Okay, so we got 5 cards here, and we're going to do this a little differently today. Let's just roll out. So in the past, there's some kind of fight or quarrel with something in your mind. You were thinking about something, But you started to nurture it. You started to nurture something and allowed you to. Maybe you felt a little bad about yourself and you kind of were putting yourself down, but you started to take care of yourself a little bit more, and that led to a release, a feeling right now of catharsis. Perhaps you just gave yourself some time and listened to some music, something like that, where you just sang along with a song you really liked, and you're like, you know what, I don't care, I'm just going to laugh around. And yeah, it led to a joyful feeling, a feeling of just expressiveness, and it's going to lead to more laughter, more lighthearted energy, which eventually is going to lead to a sense of enlightenment in some way. Like you're going to feel like kind of like you want to stay in this moment kind of feeling in the future. Cool. Well, group number 3, this is nice. So we say all this because we have the 5 of Wands, which can be some kind of conflict or work in the mental position and spiritual position. We also have Queen of Pentacles, which is a nurturing, energetic sort of thing where you gotta put your energy and your love and your attention into the right places. And that leads to Judgment, which is a release, like just a release, a feeling of catharsis. That leads to Page of Cups, who's a light-hearted character who's willing to joke around and put a fish in a cup. Can you see that? It's a little light-hearted energy, laughter, just kind of joking, making fun of some things and not taking things too seriously. And then you get the Hanged Man in a situation where it is really in its most prominent position and happy position of just enlightenment, and you just want to be in that place. You want to stay in that place, right? That feeling of just joy and lighthearted energy. Okay. Let's clarify these cards. Okay, well, this came out here, so there's some choices to be made, and you're thinking about them. Some choices to be made. There's some balance that needs to be made, yeah, that's for sure. You need to find a balance in something to move forward. Okay, Strength popping out again. We're just going to put these here. Take them out, okay? Strength, be strong in your choices. Be committed to your choice once you make it, okay? We're just going to draw from the top at this point. Okay, let's go quickly. Let's just go quickly and do the same style as before. We have, well, when you had this kind of conflict or you were like putting in a lot of work and thought, you had felt like you lost something, okay? But there was a silver lining, and you probably know what it is already. And it kind of led to you really having a lot more capability. Really, you kind of completed something big here. When you started to put yourself first and thinking about nurturing yourself, that came as like a huge win for you because it was actually a pretty big revelation. The idea that as someone who's nurturing, they can also nurture themselves, you know? Put time in for themselves, yeah, because you don't want to let someone else take your energy, okay? And you're willing to borrow other people's ideas here. Okay, borrow someone's idea. If someone gave you advice, you can take it and move along with it, okay? And you're going to commit to something. You're going to be happy about it, and you're going to commit to it. You're going to have a lighthearted nature when you do this. Okay, it's going to require some responsibility, but it's one where you feel good about it. Cool. So we say all this. Why? Because we started with the 5 of Cups. A figure is looking at 3 cups that have fallen and have spilled, and they're very upset. This guy's really sad, okay? He also doesn't have many clothes, but neither does the world. But there's a 2 of Cups in the back. There's 2 cups in the back, right? There's a sense of 2 of Cups, which could mean there's new love in the back. There's a silver lining. There's going to be new love in the future. That's just you haven't seen yet, but it can also be a reminder of just being grateful for what one has, okay? You might forget about what you actually do have because you're so fixated on what you don't, and that's not a good way to focus your time and energy. You should nurture your energy towards gratitude because that actually gives you strength. When you see what you have, you start to realize what you're capable of doing next to achieve your goals, okay? What skills do you have? What assets do you have that can lead you towards what it is that you're going for, okay? But also nurture yourself too. Put some attention and time into oneself. Do a little self-love. And that is you are deserving of that, okay? Because we have the world here. Which means you kind of made a really big revelation because the world is having completed an entire journey and being able to look back on it with real happiness and like real capability. Now we have the Seven of Swords here, which can kind of represent theft or unfairness in the position of where you are right now. But that's not always what it is. Sometimes it means you're kind of taking what's needed for yourself, kind of maybe taking a staycation day or something like that. It can also be you're borrowing an idea, or you're taking an idea from that you heard somewhere and you're bringing it into your world, okay? It's not unfair. You're not stealing. You're just taking something that can be moved somewhere else, okay? An idea, because we're talking about swords here. And this is in alignment with judgment, which is the release feeling, the feeling of catharsis, okay? And then we talk about commitment because we have the Six of Swords, where you have this guy on a boat and he's crossing the river and he's already halfway across. It would be the same distance back than it is forward, so keep moving forward. But it's lighthearted because we have the Page of Cups here in the mind. So you're happy about this situation, you're committing, and it's going to take responsibility because we have the Ten of Wands. You can see this person's taking on quite a bit of responsibility, but they actually have a smile on their face in some ways. I mean, actually, maybe not. But you have the Hanged Man, so you want to stay in this level of responsibility for whatever reason, and you're happy about it because it led to this lighthearted feeling about the situation, okay? This is going to be good because taking on this responsibility is one where you're going to learn and become strong through it. Very cool. Cool. Okay. So let's clarify this a little more and see how you feel about the situation. So when something was lost, there was some feeling of loss, and it created a conflict in the mind. You were still rather motivated about something. You were still motivated internally, and you still charged forth emotionally. When you came to this completing moment, you really were charging forward. You continued to take your ideas and you moved forward with them quickly, okay? You became wise through this. You took these ideas, you took wisdom from others, but you made it your own. And you actually worked really hard to diligently commit to this idea and to meticulously improve it. Like you were thinking very in the weeds or very detail oriented about the situation, okay? You were thinking about every angle. Okay. And you kind of feel like you didn't get enough credit for it. Maybe there's going to be a feeling where for a moment you just realize you need to focus again on yourself. It seems like you're someone who kind of goes off really quickly. Like when you see that where you can be of use or service, you go right into the fray. You jump right in. You're a strong person. You have these aligned values. You also seem to like connect with like others emotionally, and you move really quickly, okay? But there are moments where like, you feel great and you feel relaxed and like you're committed to it, but sometimes you have to remember that like you can't lose yourself completely in others. You have to focus on yourself sometimes and really take care of yourself. Group number 3. I'm going to challenge you to do something. I'm going to say tomorrow or today, if you have time, set aside 15 minutes just for you, okay? Just for you. Not for work, for you. Do it for you, okay? Whatever it is. Could be writing in a journal, could be taking like a bubble bath, could be just sitting and meditating, could be getting outside and touching a tree and just getting a little bit of sun, could be calling someone you haven't talked to in a while. Whatever it is, do it for you, okay? Do it for you. Good. That's my my homework for you guys. I've never given homework before, but I'm going to for you guys. Now, these are the other cards that popped out. We have the moons, some unknown thing, a feeling like nothing's coming to fruition as fast as you like, choices to be made, a lot of choices to be made, but balance is important here, okay? Balance is important. Cool. I'm sorry I'm lecturing you guys. I didn't mean to do that. I mean, hey, like, you're still doing good. You're still working hard. You're putting in effort. You're thinking about it. But I just feel like you're kind of losing yourself in your causes and you're not allowing yourself a moment for yourself. So I'm hoping to give that back to you right now. 15 minutes where you're not, also, not YouTube, okay? Make it outside. Go outside. Do something else. I hope the algorithm doesn't hurt me for that, saying that. but I think it will understand. There are moments that we need for ourselves where we're just connected in a human way to our reality. And I think that's one of growth and healing that allows you to just kind of be at peace. And those 15 minutes will be invaluable to you. And I hope you find that you do it more often than not just one time tomorrow, but do it continually every day. Give yourself 15 minutes for yourself. Okay, group number 3, take care. Subscribe to me if you didn't get too mad at me for giving you homework. Bye. Hey, group number 4, you chose the star. All right, let's continue on and do this really quickly. I have tried a new idea today, and we're reading a little differently. So it's going to be a little fast-paced, and then slows down, then speeds up again. Okay. I kind of like it. It's working out. But let me know in the comments if you like this style or if you prefer me to go back to how I normally do it. If you don't know how I normally do it, check my channel out and see some of the other videos from before this one. But if you do like this new way of doing it, let me know. Okay. So, in the past, you had some new emotional start, which led to some kind of pairing. This could be romantic, okay? And it was triumphant. Right now you feel victorious, like something great is happening and is worthy of celebration. I would say this could be either new romance or a reignited spark in one. Okay. You're going to be a little contemplative about the situation in the future, which will lead to a sense of really having command of oneself and really knowing how, intellectually, how to really get what it is that you would like to see in the world and manifest it. Okay? So, why do we say all this? We say this because we start with the Ace of Cups, so there's a fresh new emotional start, okay? A new emotion. We have the first cup, the first emotion. And it could lead to something romantic because we have Two of Cups, which is a pairing. Now, it could also be a partnership, so this doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it often is with the cups. And we have a victorious moment right now because in your mind position you have this Six of Wands, which is one of victory. You have a figure on a horse going through a parade. That's actually what's going on there. A victory parade. And you're going to become contemplative later because we have the Four of Cups. Now, this Four of Cups is a little more positive than traditional tarot's Four of Cups. This is more meditative, and new things are going to come in on these wings. So there's a new element coming in that you don't see yet, but you're kind of like, it's a practicing of gratitude and then just allowing good to come into your life, okay? And I say you're going to be manifesting things or being able to intellectually know how to, because we have the Magician in this position. The Magician is the master manifester, the one that has the pentacles, the wands, all of the capabilities that one needs to truly manifest a new world. Okay. So, let's continue. So when you had this new emotional state of mind, you were kind of separated from something. You were out, separate, physically out. You might have even been physically cold in some way, or physically lacking something. Could be money, could be maybe you were moving and you didn't have a place to live for a little bit, or maybe it was something where you didn't have what you needed. But that was okay because once you had this new like intellectual like pairing, this like really like spark of like a partnership, you felt charismatic and you really knew how to nurture your competitiveness in your work and in your work environment. And now you're warm. You're feeling warm. You're feeling like you just found what you needed. Okay? Because wow, you worked hard and you got to this point where you know what was happening is perfect. You have the sun right now. That's beautiful. This glowing warmth in you. That's amazing. All right. No, that's really great. And that leads to really playful energy coming up, okay? You're contemplative in the mind, but you're willing to flirt, have fun, joke around, you know, just have like lighthearted nature with people. Again, it doesn't have to be so serious, so much energy that was like going in and out. Now we can just kind of just have fun and be relaxed about it because you're safe, you're warm, your environment. And there is a connection to something involving the internet or digital work, okay? So you might be able to create your future with digital work in some way, or connecting with someone emotionally. Maybe someone has to leave, or something happens where you have to communicate on the phone, but you're holding on to this relationship. Really, you really are holding on to it because you know it's how you're going to move forward in the future. It really is your future here. You feel connected to this very strongly. Okay, interesting. So we say all this because we started with the Five of Pentacles, which is feeling left out in the cold. In this position, it could actually be a material lack, but it came with this intellectual emotional connection that was brand new. Okay, now this could be romance of some sort, and you could really have been like really happy with this and really like competitive to have this relationship. You might have been competitive with the person in some way, playfully, or you might be competing for someone's attention in some way. But it's not necessarily bad. It's actually just one where you're just really charismatic about it. Okay, like you just know your charisma, where your role is in this relationship is one where you have a lot to offer and you're not going to just like be timid about it. And it's a good relationship. This is really like combining energies here, really yin and yang, kind of like peas in a pod, kind of. Okay, and then we have the sun as you're radiant, you're full of energy, you're full of warmth. It's beautiful. Okay, this is the happiest card in the tarot, and to see it right now is beautiful because it also leads to Page of Cups, which is clarifying the Four of Cups. So contemplative mental energy, but in the real world, you're just joking around, you're just having fun, you're lighthearted. Okay. And that leads to the Four of Pentacles, clarifying the Magician. Now, this Four of Pentacles I tied to digital communication because of how the woman's holding the pentacle and how it shines. It's almost like a phone at night. You're just like kind of looking at it in your bed or something. You know what I mean? But also it can be holding on to the ability to produce wealth. So your work might be involved with digital. And it's tied with the Magician. So it's the ability to manifest the world you want. So it involves your skill sets, your intellectual skill sets. But it could also be you're communicating with someone you love. Or someone that you at least are very, very into. We might not be at love yet, but we do have the Two of Cups, so. Okay. So, clarifying. Well, actually, let's just go right back to where we started. When you were kind of feeling left out, but you had this new emotional position, you might have met someone new recently, maybe you were lacking a relationship. And yeah, okay, so maybe you got kind of in tune with someone who had a real strong masculine energy, okay? But it also could have been you, but it felt like you feel presence of real emotional masculine energy. And it gave you internal strength. This person's strong, and you feel strong around them, okay? Whoa, okay. So we got a lot of like this masculine strength energy going on. We have someone who's charismatic right now, someone who's showing their charisma. You feel charismatic, you feel creative, and this person does too. Someone else does too. Right now, you're feeling really good. Yeah, and you're going to be proud of this kind of situation you have. Like, you might be bragging to friends, like, look at this situation. This is like, I'm finally, like, something really is coming through with me. And you're just joking around. You're having fun. You're flirting. This is a time that you can actually feel young. You feel that youthful energy, this like that like fresh start energy. And you want to just give back now. You want to give to people. You want to be charitable because you have this ability to create something the way you want to, and to have this kind of relationship that you're looking for. You know, you've healed something that you didn't realize you needed to. And now you're like, kind of the world's like at your feet, kind of like if the world card popped out right here, I wouldn't be surprised because like you got so much going on now. Look at that. Warmth, beauty coming into your life. This is beautiful. You met someone strong and you met someone else. There could have been multiple people, but you met someone where you paired really nicely with them. And it could be in a work environment or in a romantic environment, or it could be a reinvigorating romance, one that's already existed, but one that you're re-sparking. Okay, someone might have come back, or it just could be something that's bringing some life back into a relationship. You should be proud because you got warmth and energy and a lot of charisma. And when it comes to you, I mean, you might not feel it. Sometimes you might not feel that, but when you do, you certainly have it. Someone appreciates it in you. That's for sure. Someone sees that in you. I'm sure you can even think of someone who probably sees it in you. Okay. Well, group number 4, this has been your reading. Please subscribe to hear more of me in the future. Take care.